जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद कृष्ण लीलामृत सार तार शत शतधार दश दीक बहे जहाते से चैतन्य लीला सरोवराख्याय मनहं सचराहताहते श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So last time we were discussing prem ras nirjas karite ashvadan. In order to release the essence of the love, Krishna descends to this world. And why does he descend? এই সব রস নির্যাস করিব আস্বাদন, এই দ্বারে করিব সর্বভক্তের প্রসাদ. So those pastimes which are not seen in this world, mostly Krishna's intimate relationships with his Siddha Muktas are always prominent in his abode, in his in the spiritual world. So now Krishna is going to descend Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Srimati Radharani to give an opportunity, Sarva Bhakte Re Prasad. I shall favor all the devotees. How? He will enact those pastimes which are not seen in this world, and that's how he will give the blessing to the devotees. He will favor the devotees. Therefore, he says, Brajer nirmal rag suni bhaktavan rav marge bhaje jena chadi dharma karma. Then, by hearing about the pure love of the residents of Braja, devotees will worship on the path of spontaneous love, abstaining all rituals of religiosity and fruitive activity. And dharma, chari dharma karma. So normally, everybody is asked to practice their religious duties for dharma. But Krishna, when he descends, he performs his pastime. Therefore, he attracts everybody to follow him. So in this world, people are engaged in practicing dharma, means varnashram dharma or loka dharma. Varnashram dharma means the religious duties which are prescribed for Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. And loka dharma, when you live in a society, sometimes you have to perform some activities for the well and good of the people who live around the society. So therefore, this kind of activities will continue until when? Tavat karmani kurvita no nirvidyata javata. Mat katha savanado va saddha javandalaya. When you have developed attachment to sharing and chanting the glories of the Lord, you can go to Him. You can give up this kind of duties in the world. So when Krishna is saying that he Bhaktagan, Suni Bhaktagan, is he going to give, is he going to become partial that he is going to give this opportunity to his devotees? No, Krishna is never partial. The example have been given like, anyone who serves wish fulfilling tree, they get the result. So Krishna is like wish fulfilling tree. He is Kalpavriksha. So anyone who comes and serves him, they get the result. And especially Krishna is very much inclined to his devotees. That is not a fault in him because that expands the Bhakta Vatsal quality of the Lord. So in that way, those who are qualified members, they will hear about the pure dealings of Krishna with the residents of Braja. That's how they will develop the appetite for spontaneous devotional service. And in that way, their engagement in Varnashram Dharma, Loka Dharma, and any other fruitive activity will go away automatically. Prabhupada writes in the purport. Narottam Vilas Prabhu, can you read the purport?
Wait, 1 second, Prabhu. I'm just trying to figure out. But this Prabhu of section 34, Prabhuji, right?
33.
Many realized souls such as Raghunath Das Goswami and King Kulashekar have recommended with great emphasis that one develop the spontaneous love of Godhead, even at the risk of transgressing all the traditional codes of morality and religiosity. Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, has written in his prayers called as Mana Shiksha that one should simply worship Radha and Krishna with all attention. Na dharmam shudhi gana niruktam kila kuru. One should not be much interested in performing Vedic rituals or simply following rules and regulations. King Kulashekar has written similarly in his book Mukundamala Stotra, Nafta dharme na vasu nichaye naiva kamo pabhoge yad bhavyam tad bhavatu bhagavan purva karmanurupam etat prarthyam manabahu matam janma janmantareti tvat padambho ruha yuga gata nischala bhaktirastu. I have no attraction for performing religious rituals or beholding any earthly kingdom. I do not care for sense enjoyments. Let them appear and disappear in accordance with my previous deeds. My only desire is to be fixed in devotional service to the lotus feet of the Lord, even though I may continue to take birth here life after life.
So you can see a devotee who has developed spontaneous attraction to the service of the personality of Godhead, they are not obliged to perform the duties in this world. Even here King Kulashekar saying, I don't care for sense enjoyments. Let them appear and disappear in accordance with my previous deeds. Because the prarabdha karma will bring some time, the result, and that's how people get involved in some sort of fruitive activities. So here he is saying, let them appear and disappear with my previous deeds. Because I have done some prarabdha, let them come and let them disappear. I don't bother about them. So this state of consciousness is automatically attained by a devotee. Whereas a jnani, he tries by mechanical way to stop the flow of mind. And even if he can stop, he can check the flow of desires by yoga practice, to some degree we can say. But still, there's a high possibility that he might get deluded by the external energy of the Lord. If he has taken exclusive shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, where he accepts the form of the Lord is Sachidananda Vigraha, and the pastime and activities of the Lord are eternal, then there might be a possibility of him getting the favor of the internal potency of the Lord, where by coming in contact with a pure devotee of the Lord, he will take up Krishna consciousness. On the other hand, when he is trying to annihilate his identity in this material world, because he finds this body is the source of suffering, so he doesn't want to accept any body. So when he wants to annihilate his identity, and then he comes to a platform where he is not entitled to this prarabdha karma, he may lead a life like those of a devotee here. He is not bothered about anything. But if he is influenced by the external energy, then he may think himself as being one with the God. That is when he falls down. But for a devotee, there is no question of fall down, because they are always under the protection of Yogamaya, and Yogamaya is helping them. So in that way, now in the next verse, verse number 34, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is going to give the proof, the evidence from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Here, he tells that Krishna has come to perform the activities to give opportunity for devotees, to help them gain the spontaneous attraction for him. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusam dehamasritaha bhajate tadrishi krida yaha sutva tatparo bhavet. Anugrahaya bhaktan. Bhaktanam anugrahaya. In order to show his special favor to the devotees, he assumes human-like form. This is one way to explain. Okay? Manusam dehamasrita. Lord descends in human form and perform bhajate tadrishi krida. Bhajate means out of love and affection for his devotees, he performs those, he enacts those pastimes. And tadrishi means tadrishi krida here. Tadrishi. Those pastimes which will attract the attention of the living entities. That kind of pastime. Okay? And Jasukta Tatprabhavet. Having heard such pastimes, one should engage in service to him. Or there is another way to explain this, that Anugrahaya Bhaktanam, Bhaktanam Anugrahaya. To show favor to his devotees, Bhajate Tadrishi Krida. He performed those pastimes which will be attractive for the living entities. Who? Manusam Devamas. Those who have appeared in human form. So in this connection, we can understand the pastimes of the Lord are meant mainly for human being, for human society. It's not for any other species of life. So just then the human being can personally take part in, they can focus in hearing about the pastime of the Lord, and that's how they will gain taste to serve Lord in a particular capacity. So here in this verse, bhavet, the word bhavet is coming because we are discussing Brajir Nirmalaraj Suni Bhaktajan. By hearing the pure love of the residents of Braja. So therefore, the only way to gain entrance into the pastime of the Lord in Vrindavan is we have to hear about his pastimes, his loving dealings with the Brajavasis. Bhavet is a bidling. Bidling means uh, uh, this is the rule. Nobody can enter into the pastime of the Lord by any other way. Okay, this is the rule. So in this connection, so somebody may say that anyone can, follow these pastimes. No, it is not meant for everybody to follow these pastimes. Who can follow pastimes? Our acharyas, they explain, sadhakeshu madhye durachara bhajate mam ananya bhag ityadi bhi ma evam. Some acharyas, they are saying, this is Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur speaking. Some people, those who are durachari means they are still attached to the sense gratification in this world. They are having a lot of attraction to the sensory objects in this world. They should not try to follow these pastimes in Vrindavan, especially Raslila pastime. But why? Because those people who have still appetite for mundane things, they will be attracted to perform some nonsense and the sensual activities. Therefore, it is recommended they better not read such pastimes. They should not even discuss about these pastimes. That's why you can see Prabhupada was very, very particular. See, neither these pastimes should be imitated by the devotees who are even qualified. Nobody should imitate this pastime. He said, Srila Sukadev Goswami, he is speaking, Naitat samachare jatu manasapi hanishwara. Krishna's intimate pastime with the gopis should not be even meditated upon in mind, should not even think of those pastimes in mind. By who? Samachare jatu manasapi hanishwara vinasyatyācharan maudhyāt jatha rudro dhijam bhisham. Those people who are not qualified, if they even a little bit try to imitate the pastimes of Krishna, then they will be destroyed. Just like one who is not or Rudra, means who is not a Shiva, and imitating Shiva brings poison. What will happen? He will die. Even in Ujjal Nilamani, there is another verse which is speaking that Bhartitavyam sam ichchadhi bhaktavat natu Krishnavat. Some ichchadhi, some means mangalam. Those who desire auspiciousness, those who desire their growth in Krishna consciousness. Then some it should be bhakta, but to vartitavyam. Vartitavyam means uh, one should follow these pastimes like a devotee, not to Krishna, but not like Krishna. Why? It is said next, Itivam Bhakti Shastranam Tatparjasya Vinirnaya. This is the conclusion of Bhakti Shastra. That Bhakti Shastras are given for us to behave like a devotee. No way one is allowed to put himself in the frame of Krishna and think now he can do whatever he wants to do. Hmm? So when our heart and mind has become purified, then we can meditate upon such kind of pastimes. Even though it is a recommendation given in Shastra, sometimes some people they raise this objection that Krishna has spoken in Bhagavad Gita, Jajjadacharati Sastastadivitarajana Sajat Pramanam Krute Lokakadam Jajjadacharati. Krishna is the greatest personality. Whatever he has done, we should follow him. But try to understand in that connection, Krishna has come. What he is speaking? He is speaking about the varnashram duties. Arjuna was a Kshatriya, he should do the fighting, and that is how he can purify himself. So in that connection, Krishna also, when he was in Dwaraka, he would go to the temple every day, he would perform some yajna, he was doing everything, he was following the duty of a Kshatriya. Hmm? Uh, so he was following the duty of a Kshatriya. That means in Bhagavad Gita, while instructing, Krishna has shown by his personal example that we should be practicing our Swadharma to purify ourselves. Not that Krishna is speaking about following the Ras Lila pastime. Therefore, Prabhupada is speaking in the purport, is saying, thus saying that the human form of life is the best position for devotional service, has a special significance because only in this form can a living entity revive his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The human form is considered the highest state in the cycle of the species of life in the material world. If one takes advantage of this highest kind of material form, one can regain his position of devotional service to the Lord. Then further down the purport, Prabhupada is saying, the Supreme Lord bestows the most merciful benediction upon human society when he appears in his human form. It is then that humanity gets the opportunity to engage in different kinds of eternal service to the Lord. Then he says about like the Lord appears in different incarnations and to reciprocate the different appreciations of living entities in different stages of elevation. So in that way, he performs these pastimes to help the devotees to grow in their Krishna consciousness. But as far as this rasa dance is concerned, so at the end of purport, Prabhupada writes, the rasa dance is arranged by Krishna's internal potency Yoga Maya, and it is beyond the grasp of the materially affected person. Trying to throw mud into transcendence with their perversity, the Sahajiyas misinterpret the sayings Tat Paratvina Nirmalam and Tat Paro Bhavet by misinterpreting Tadrishi Kridaha. They want to indulge in sex while pretending to imitate Lord Krishna. But one must actually understand the imports of the words through the intelligence of the authorized Goswamis. Srinottam Das Thakur, in his prayers to the Goswamis, has explained his inability to understand such spiritual affairs. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Haivyakuti Kabehama Bhushabose Jugalapiriti. When I shall go, when I shall be eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental love affairs of Radha and Krishna. In other words, unless one is trained under the disciplic succession of the Goswamis, one cannot understand Radha and Krishna. The conditioned souls are naturally averse to understanding the spiritual existence of the Lord. And if they try to know the transcendental nature of the Lord's pastimes while they remain absorbed in materialism, they are sure to blunder like the Sahajas. So in the next, in text number 35, it says, Bhavet Kriya Vidiling Se Yaha Koi Kartabya Akartabya Anyatha Pratyabhai. Here the use of the verb Bhavet, which is in the imperative mood, tells us that this certainly must be done. Non-compliance would be abandonment of duty. Right in the purport. This imperative is applicable to pure devotees. That the following of the Rasla pastime of the Lord can be done by the pure devotees. Neophytes will be able to understand these affairs only after being elevated by regulated devotional service under the expert guidance of the spiritual master. Then they too will be competent to hear of the love affairs of Radha and Krishna. As long as one is in material condition life, strict discipline is required in the matter of moral and immoral activities. The absolute world is transcendental and free from such distinctions because their inebriety is not possible. But in this material world, a sexual appetite necessitates distinction between moral and immoral conduct. There are no sexual activities in the spiritual world. The, the transactions between lover and beloved in the spiritual world are pure transcendental love and are the unadulterated bliss. One who has not been attracted by the transcendental beauty of rasa will certainly be degraded down into material attraction. Thus, to act in material contamination and progress to the darkest region of hellish life. But by understanding the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, one is freed from the grief of attraction to material, so-called love between men and women. Similarly, one who understands the pure parental love of Nanda and Yashoda for Krishna will be saved from being dragged into material parental affection. If one accepts Krishna as the supreme friend, the attraction of material friendship will be finished for him, and he will not be dismayed by so-called friendship with mundane wranglers. If he is attracted by servitorship to Krishna, he will no longer have to serve the material body in the degraded status of material existence, with a false hope of becoming master in the future. Similarly, one who sees the greatness of Krishna in neutrality will certainly never again seek the so-called relief of impersonalist or Buddhist philosophy. If one is not attracted by the transcendental nature of Krishna, one is sure to be attracted to material enjoyment, thus to become implicated in the clinging network of virtuous and sinful activities, and to continue material existence by transmigrating from one body, material body to another. Only in Krishna consciousness can one achieve the highest perfection of life. So here, when Prabhupada is speaking about Santa Dasya Sakya Vatsalyas, in the same principle is applied. If Krishna enacts as pastimes to give the opportunity for us, but it doesn't mean that without being qualified, we just simply try to focus on such kind of pastimes. Even any rasa, no one is uh, advised to imitate. It should give a natural appetite. It should be evolved naturally. How? By hearing from spiritual masters. So Prabhupada is saying, uh, neophytes will be able to understand these affairs only after being elevated by regulated devotional service under the expert guidance of the spiritual master. That's why we put a lot of emphasis into following sadhana bhakti. এই বাঞ্ছা জয়ছে কৃষ্ণ প্রাকট্য কারণ অসুর সংহার অনুসঙ্গ প্রয়োজন এই মত চৈতন্য কৃষ্ণ পূর্ণ ভগবান যুগ ধর্ম প্রবর্তন নহে তার কাম. Just as these desires are the fundamental reasons for Krishna's appearance, whereas destroying the demons is only an incidental necessity. So, for Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, promulgating the dharma of the age is incidental. Yugadharma Pravartan Nahi Tarkam. We have discussed this before, that it was the time when Krishna wanted to descend. That was the time for Yuga Avatar to descend. Therefore, a Yuga Avatar entered in the body of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from Krishna. Therefore, uh, all these avatars, they also descend along with him. So when Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is promulgating the Yuga Dharma, it is not to be understood that Mahaprabhu is doing, but the Vishnu form, the Yugavatar, he is doing this. Premaras Nirjas Karitashradam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to release Premarasa. That is his main duty. Anusangika Kriya is Yuga Dharma Prachar. কোন কারণে যবে হইল অবতারে মন যুগ ধর্ম কাল হইল সে কালে মিলন. When the Lord desired to appear for another reason, the time for promulgating the religion of the age also arose. দুই হেতু অবতরী দয়া ভক্তগণ আপনে আস্বাদে প্রেম নাম সংকীর্তন. Thus, with two intentions, the Lord appeared with his devotees and tested the nectar of prema with the congregational chanting of the name. So one thing is, he tested the love, at the same time, he promulgated the Yuga Dharma, Harinam Sankirtan. These are the two activities. Sei dware achandale kirtana sangsare nama prema malagathi paraila sangsare. Thus he spread kirtan even among the untouchables. He wove a wreath of the holy name, worth, holy name and prema, with which he garlanded the entire material world. See, Achandale Kirtan Sanchare. Those who are born in the low class family, sometimes they are prohibited to enter into the temple of the Lord. Like if you go to Puri, Jagannath temple, there they don't allow Muslims to enter into the temple. Of course, there is a history behind it, because they were attacking Jagannath temple again and again. Therefore, they don't allow them. But even in some other temple also, traditional Brahmanas are there, they don't allow these low-class people to enter. Means they cannot take part in Krishna consciousness. That is their mood. But in Mahaprabhu's mood, he allows everybody. Everybody can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And even what to speak, anyone can become devotee of Lord Krishna. Therefore, Goswami, Sanatana Goswami is saying, Yatha Kanchanatam Jati Rasa Kamsha Vidhanata. Just by undergoing some chemical reaction, the kamsha, bell metal, can be turned into gold. Similarly, Yatha Diksha Vidhanana Dijuttam Jayatrana. By initiating somebody into Vaishnava cult, they can be elevated to the platform of Divija. এই মত ভক্ত ভাব করি অঙ্গীকার আপনি আচরি ভক্তি করিল প্রচার. In this way, assuming the sentiment of a devotee, he preached devotional service while preaching it himself, while practicing it himself. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, in the human form of life, the highest achievement is to attain the platform of love of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya did not invent a system of religion, as people sometimes assume. It was not invented by Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay? So religious system is meant to show the common people the path of God, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing that. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu transcendental mission is to distribute love of Godhead to everyone. Therefore, Prabhupada writes, the intention of Lord Chaitanya is to taste Krishna's sweetness in transcendental love. He does not care to think of himself as Krishna because he wants the position of Radharani. He should remember this. We should remember this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to test the love of his devotee. That's why he doesn't want to be called as Krishna. Lord Chaitanya has accepted the role of Radharani, and we should support their position, as Swarupa Damodar did in the Gambhira, the room where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in Puri. He always reminded Lord Chaitanya of Radharani's feelings of separation, as they are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. And Lord Chaitanya appreciated his assistance. But the Gaura Nagaris, who place Lord Chaitanya in the position of enjoyer and themselves as he is enjoyed, are not approved by Lord Chaitanya or by Lord Chaitanya's followers. Instead of being blessed, the foolish imitators are left completely apart. And their concoctions are against the principles of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The doctrine of transcendental enjoyment by Krishna cannot be mixed up with the doctrine of transcendental feeling of separation from Krishna in the role of Radharani. Everybody is keeping quiet. Okay, I will just stop here. Any question or comment you may have for discussion? Haribol?
Hare
Is
Krishna,
it clear?
Prabhuji. Tanru Pranam, Srila Prabhupada. Actually, this last verse that you read, and in fact, the last line that you read, I did not understand it at all. Would you be able to explain that about the doctrine of transcendental enjoyment by Krishna cannot be mixed up with the doctrine of transcendent feeling of separation from Krishna in the role of Radharani? What does that really mean? I mean, this whole this verse, I did not understand at all.
No, this one way Krishna enjoys in union and another is in separation. So here mostly Prabhupada, what he has said before, he is just summarizing. There is a group called Gauranga Nagari. Gauranga Nagari is a group of people who feels that Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, and like he enjoys with the gopis in Vrindavan, we can assume the role of the gopis and we can help him to enjoy us. That is not the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why Prabhupada gave the reference from the pastime of Gambhira, where the Swarup Goswami, he would always recite those verses, he would speak about those pastimes where Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will release the mood of Srimati Radharani even more. They said these two types of moods should not mix. And especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to release that mood. He is not happy when we call him as Krishna. That is what it is.
So when Srila Prabhupada has written that these moods cannot be mixed, meaning the mood of separation cannot be mixed with the mood of his meeting with devotees, is that what it means, Prabhuji? I'm just trying to
No,
understand.
this is in this context, the meeting, the union with the Lord cannot be mixed with the mood of the pralamba separation. Is that these people who are imitating Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes and they do something which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu don't like. Why? Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't like it? Because he has come with the mood of releasing the love of Radha in separation. So when they are, acting contrary, that is against the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why it should not be mixed. And why? Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will not enjoy what he has come for. That is what in this context has been said.
No, I have it shut off. No camera.
Okay. Oh, I actually understood. I was thinking maybe it meant like Sambhoga and Vipralamba Bhav should not be mixed, but that is not exactly what it is. Okay. That's why I was all confused. I did not understand. Okay, now I do, Prabhuji.
No,
It's a little bit.
there are two types of feeling by the devotees. They feel their attraction for the Lord in union and also in separation. There are two different, way to serve the Lord. You can say like that. You should understand like that. There are two different ways to serve the Lord.
Okay.
We just have topics.
It's a very advanced. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
You all are keeping, you all are hiding, then I don't see anyone on the screen. What is this? I am I'm feeling very inspired. Okay, thank you very much. May Krishna bless you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Oh, Saji,
Thank
how
you,
are
thank
you?
you, Prabhuji.